having a life scholarship and being able to afford to go to college made me feel inspired to go.
When I got a life scholarship, it was such a relief.
I knew that I wanted to have an impact. Having a life scholarship through the SC Education Lottery was huge. It gave me the opportunity to make that impact right here at home.
The South Carolina Education Lottery. A better you, a better us, a better South Carolina. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Do you want more success, more growth, more results? Then it's time for the Boundless Success Accelerator from the Modern Observer Group. This isn't your average coaching program. It's where top performers come to dominate. Weekly group sessions, on-demand coaching, a community that's got your back, and a power-packed library of tools to supercharge your business and career. No more excuses, no more waiting. Get in, level up, and start building the life you've been dreaming about. Visit us at modernobserver.com/boundlesssuccess to join today. Let's get you to the next level. Hello, and welcome to the Success Showcase, the podcast that helps you succeed in your business, life, and career. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, with the Modern Observer Group, and with me, as always, is Chip Janiszewski from the Happiness and Success GPS. Chip, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you, Eric? Happy day after Father's Day.
Yes, had a very relaxing Father's Day. Heard from my kids, which is always great. Yourself?
Yep, heard from my sons. Got the FaceTime by my grandchildren, who are crazy as always. So, yep, and we have them coming up this weekend because their parents met 10 years ago on Match.com, and we got them so they can do some stuff this weekend. So,
nice.
Good stuff.
All right. Well, we talk about focus and purpose and all these things and how important your why is. And we've talked about it a lot. But what we talk about much less is how do you figure out what your purpose is? And, I'm saying purpose right now, but we tend to refer to this in a lot of different ways. Your purpose, your true north, your why. It doesn't really matter what you call it, but the trick is trying to figure out what it is.
Yeah, and obviously what we talk about this all the time. Step number one is just self-reflection and exploration. Basically, what are your values? What are your passions? What are your strengths? What are your experiences? What turned you on about them? And what are your different interests? And if you can start writing these things down on paper, you're going to start developing a pattern. And that's step number one. And then step number two is really share these with others, get their input on that. Because you know yourself, you're focused on yourself, tunnel vision on certain things about yourself. But other people are going to see things in you that you don't even recognize that you have, that you're brilliant at. So those are the first two things. And we'll be going through a lot more stuff as we're going through. It's self-reflection and then connecting with others to get their input and maybe help them out too.
And those really are the keys. You do need to reflect on yourself, and input is so important because, again, we have a view of ourselves that tends to be skewed. We think, well, if I can do that, everybody can do it. It's no big deal. But other people will have a different perspective. Now, as part of our entrepreneurial coaching, we actually have what we call our True North process. And it's 4 questions that you need to ask before you can figure out if a job or a business is really your true purpose. And the first question you have to ask is, what do you care about? What interests you? What gets your passion going? That's a big part of your purpose, because if you're not interested in something, you're going to let it fall by the wayside. So figuring out what you're interested in and what you're passionate about is step 1 in our True North process. Now, step two needs to be a little more objective because step two is, what are you good at? Also, very important in figuring out what your purpose is. Because you could be passionate about something and absolutely terrible at it. And so that's not going to be your purpose. And we've all seen that happen, especially in, elementary school up to high school athletics, when someone really wants to be on the team, but they just don't have the talent for it. So you have to figure out, what are you good at? And then once you ask yourselves those questions, look for where they intersect. What are you passionate about that you're actually good at? Now, hopefully, this will narrow it down to at least a few things. Then, the third step is, when you're looking at what you've narrowed down, who does it help? We're all here to help people. So if your true purpose doesn't actually help anybody, then it's probably not your true north. So you're passionate about it, you're good at it, and you figure out who it helps. The fourth step in our true north process, and this is mostly for entrepreneurs, is, can you make money at it? If you can't make a living at it, then it's a hobby. It may be a hobby you're passionate about, but it's not enough to keep you sustained. We talk about this all the time when we talk about self-care. There's a reason when you're on the airplane, during the safety announcements, they tell you, if the oxygen mask drops, put yours on first. You can't take care of others unless you take care of yourself. If your purpose doesn't give you the resources to take care of yourself, then you're not going to be able to use it to take care of others. So that's why that fourth step, while it seems out of place to a lot of people, is so crucial to figuring out your true north. Because if something can help others, allow you to help yourself, you're passionate about it, and you're good at it, then that is your true north. If it meets all of those criteria. Now, if you're really lucky, you may have a few things that actually meet all four of those criteria. And then you've got to sort of measure, which are you most passionate about? Or which are you most passionate about now? And maybe you'll get to the other later in life.
Yeah, my good old friend, AI, artificial intelligence. I mean, I talked about the self-reflection and connecting with others, and you just talked about the four questions to ask for true north. And number three says find meaning and impact. And the first one is consider what injustices bother you. The next one is
Yes.
think about who you want to help. Number three is reflect upon how do you want to be remembered. And then, most importantly, again, analyzing yourself, look for patterns. See if there's recurring themes in your interests and values and so on and so forth. And then it's also important as you're doing that, it's just remembering that this it's a journey, which you should embrace as you're going on. Your purpose can evolve. Focus
Yes.
on progress, not perfection. Be patient and persistent. And don't be afraid to change direction because people change too. So,
Yes. And you went through all of that pretty quickly.
yep.
So I think we need to dive into some of that. And, we've talked fairly recently about progress, not perfection. And this is crucial because, by definition, perfection doesn't exist. There's always a flaw in something. And sometimes that flaw is what makes it special. If you go to the American Southwest, there are tribes of Native Americans that weave the most amazing rugs. And every one of these rugs purposely has an imperfection in it because that makes it unique. That makes it special. So perfection really doesn't exist. So why are you aiming for it? Well, you want to get as close as possible, but you can't beat yourself up about it when you don't achieve it. That's why it's progress, not perfection.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to stay away from getting discouraged. And remember, discouraged is a function of your own brain.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Yes, it is. You know, you have an amazing amount of control over what you do, but it takes effort because you've got that little voice in your head going, oh, no, you could fail at that. Oh, no, that could be dangerous. You could be disappointed. And it's bad enough if it's just in your own head. But then for the most part, you probably have very well-meaning family and friends who don't want to see you hurt. So they say, well, do you really want to be doing that? It's, that's going to be very difficult. It takes a lot to overcome this. But if you know what your true north is, if you know your purpose, that's going to give you the drive, the passion to tell all of these voices to go to hell, that you're going to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. You really have two people in your head. You have Mr. Yes, but, which is the person that brings up all these different things. And on the other side, find your purpose, and you got the yes and in there. And if you change all those buts to ands, which you can do with the snap of a finger and realizing when Mr. Yes But's taking over, that's the key to it.
It really is. Now, I also want to get into something else you said, that, your purpose can change. People tend to get locked into ideas going, oh, well, that's what I meant to do, and then never going past that. But the fact of the matter is, you are always changing. You're not the same person today that you were yesterday. You're certainly not the same person that you were 10 years ago. And quite frankly, if you asked your 10-year-old self what you were going to be doing when you're 40, the odds are pretty slim that you'd actually have gotten it right, because we are always changing. There's an old saying, you can never step in the same river twice, because the river is always moving. The river always changes. The pressure of the water changes the banks. The movement of the water changes what's underneath it. So it's never really the same. And also, we are not the same. So even if you're in the same place at the same time on a different day, it's not quite the same. And because you're always changing, your purpose changes and evolves as well.
Yeah, I love the word evolves because that's exactly what it's doing. I mean, obviously, you and I have been around a little bit, and we've had basic things that we're good at and that we stand for and so on and so forth. But our approach to bringing them to people has changed a whole lot. Obviously, it's had to because of the way the times are and so on and so forth and technology and everything else. But the more that we come, the more experience that you have in doing that and you evolve into different things, you become a big benefit to everybody else out there too. I mean, one of the things, how do you want to be remembered? It's mostly for how you're helping people out. And that evolves. I mean, basically, you start doing some things and you're helping people out, and that's great. And what you do personally a lot is get a lot of education and you figure out new ways to kind of enhance what you're doing using different methods to make yourselves more efficient, which it does that to everybody else too. And obviously, one of the things that is not written down here, but what we both do a whole lot of, and I know that you do this in reading books all the time, is you're constantly working on yourself and reading and so on and so forth, because that's the source of your evolvement.
That's it. You have to keep learning to be able to evolve. And things change so quickly now, especially where technology is concerned, but even where people are concerned, where events are concerned, things happen much faster now than they did, say, 100 years ago. So you have to keep learning things. Now, there's also another reason that your purpose can change. Your purpose is not everlasting. There comes a point, if you're lucky.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water, but you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
That you've actually achieved it. And I will give the example of Elon Musk. 25 years ago, Elon Musk decided his purpose was he wanted to have a way to buy things over the internet and to have a secure way that he could pay for things. So he invented PayPal. Well, once he did that and got it up and running, he sold it and moved on to his next challenge. He wanted an electric car. So he built Tesla. And then when he got the electric car running and the company to build it and provided it, he found that his purpose there was good. So we went, well, what's the next thing I'm passionate about? Well, I want to go to Mars. So he created SpaceX. Now, he hasn't fulfilled that one yet. He's still working on it. But this just gives you an example of how things change. Your purpose doesn't have to be something that's going to be your focus until you die. You can have a purpose that's actually possible to achieve. And you have to believe that your purpose is achievable. Otherwise, bringing this full circle to where we started, you'll get discouraged. You'll start getting depressed because, oh, well, if this is my true purpose, why can't I achieve it? You have to know that you can achieve it. Depending on what it is, it may take time. And your focus, again, going in a circle, your focus has to be on progress. In reality, the purpose of every business is to put itself out of business. That's because a business is there to serve a purpose. It's to fill a need. And if the business can fill that need to its entire audience, there's no need for it to exist anymore. Now, also in reality, a business doesn't go under that way because there's always a new need. But that's what your purpose should be. It's to put yourself out of your purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. And the next final bullet here that I have from Mr. AI is the living with purpose, which is basically living with what you're looking to do, setting your purpose-driven goals. We've talked a lot about goal setting and aligning your daily actions with your values and passions, embracing the present moment, every single opportunity. And again, instead of letting Mr. Yes But take over, Mr. Yes and can take over and just embrace that. Be open to the opportunities as you're analyzing things. Self-reflect on the progress that you're making too. See if you need changes that you need to make and things like that. And very, very important is celebrate your achievements, including, like you're saying, okay, I'm done with this one. I've achieved it. What's next?
Yes, you have to celebrate the wins. That's another way of keeping you motivated. And we've talked about that on other podcasts. But something that sets your purpose apart. You can be passionate about a lot of things. You can be good at a lot of things. And maybe most of them will help other people. And maybe a lot of them will actually help you make a good living. But what sets your purpose apart, aside from meeting all of those criteria, is that it is part of who you are. It's a part of your values. It's a part of your behaviors. Nobody has to question, is this really your purpose? Because they can see it in everything you do. It's not something you put on when people are around. It's not something you have to get up in the morning, prepare for, and then take it. It's like, no, it's part of you. You get up with it. You go to sleep with it. Whether you're alone or with people, it's there. That's how you really know you've identified your purpose.
Yeah, it's basically your being. That's what it
Yes.
is. Basically your being. And we talked about, the source of all being loving kindness and good and so on and so forth. And your purpose is in some way to do good and share that with others. So it is your being.
Yes. And, because you're so passionate about whatever your purpose is. I talked about the fact that, it's helping others and it's providing you a way to help you. But one of the things we don't measure in the test to figure out what your purpose is, because quite frankly, it goes beyond measurement until you're actually in your purpose, is how happy it's going to make you. This isn't something you have to psych yourself up to do. This is something you can't help doing. It's something you're excited to do. It's something that gets you up in the morning so that you don't want to hit the snooze bar. you want to get up and get moving towards this. It's energizing. It's all encompassing. And I do want to make something clear, because just because it's all encompassing doesn't mean that everything you do has to be focused on that purpose. That purpose is one thing, but that purpose may not include what you love doing with your family. You still need to be able to take time away from your purpose to reflect on other things. And it's that time away from your purpose, when you're not focused on it, that the evolution of it comes. Because that's where you're learning other things. That's where you're seeing other things. That's where you're learning how to innovate. Because all innovation is taking multiple items that don't seem like they would go together and seeing what happens when you put them together. So if you're completely focused on your purpose and not looking at other things, you're missing out on ways to innovate for your purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. We've talked often about the need for you to put together a personal strategic plan for every facet of your life. And obviously, your purpose and passion, as far as what you're doing and how you're giving away and so forth, is a big part of it and facilitates everything else. But as you mentioned, I mean, the most important things in life to a lot of people are family, friendships, time off, vacations, and things like that. These are things that you have to list down and plan and look forward to as you're going through the day-to-day life, achieving your purpose. Because obviously, if you have that carrot in front of you and you're achieving that, it makes everything better. But it's not just all about, I'm not going to call it work, because purpose goes far beyond work. But
Yes.
that is not the only thing that's important. What you're doing with that facilitates everything else. And the more successful you are, obviously, in achieving your purpose, the more happy you're going to be, just as you said, in other facets of your life. But you got to plan for them and make sure that you're doing them too.
Absolutely. And, you know, as energizing as your purpose is, you have to take some time away from it. And I think the perfect analogy is a light bulb. When you turn the light bulb on, it's energized. Electricity goes through it. But if you don't take the time to turn the light off, the energy that's running through it burns out the bulb. So you do need, even though your purpose should be something you absolutely love, you want to work on, and you may want to work on it 24/7, you have to be aware of the toll the effort takes. You may enjoy the effort. You may love doing it, but it's still effort. And effort needs to be recovered from. It's like working out. When you're lifting weights, you're putting that effort into lifting weights. But the growth for your muscles comes not from when you're lifting the weights, but when your muscles are recovering between weightlifting sessions. So it's the time you take away when you're not working on your purpose that will help you grow to find newer and better ways to complete your purpose. It's all related. Just because you're doing something not related to your purpose doesn't mean that it's not going to all circle back.
Yeah, I'm thinking about, I like listening to music every single night. And one of the songs I heard recently came from The Lion King, and it's called The Circle of Life. And that's
Yes.
what we are talking about. And that's one of the most beautiful songs out there. So just understand that we're just spiritual beings on a human trip right now, and we're doing the best we can while we're here. But it's a circle.
It is. And more than just a circle, because a circle is essentially two-dimensional. And your life is anything but two-dimensional. But you have to understand that everything you're doing is connected to everything else you're doing. And it's actually basic science. When you get down to the molecular level, most of what's there is empty space. So if you're looking at things on a molecular level, there is no boundary between you, the space around you, the person next to you, and the tools you're using. It's all interconnected. So just because you found your purpose doesn't mean you should ignore other things. Because again, it's all connected. You'll learn more, you'll achieve more, and maybe you'll actually complete your purpose only to find there's a bigger purpose next. So we are just about at the end of our time. Chip, what do you think the big takeaway for our listeners is?
Well, I like going back to your 4 True North questions, the process. Number 1, what do you care about? What are your passions and interests? Number 2, what are you good at? And if you can sync the 2 of them, that's fantastic. Who does it help? It's so important. Obviously, if making money is a result of that, that's a great thing too. And considering that this is a process, as we talked about, it is the process of ongoing life here. And once you understand that, and you're working towards that every single moment with a balanced life, achieving the purpose will happen. And if you achieve another one and another one and another one, that's what it's all about. And most importantly, just enjoy the ride, every single present moment.
Yes. I think for me, the big takeaway is that once you find your purpose, the connection is so important because you're connected to your purpose, but it also connects you to everything else in your life. It's not a matter of siloing it off so that this is when you're working on your purpose. It's part of you, and it needs to be part of you. And the more you can integrate all the different parts of your life into your purpose, you're going to enjoy more, you're going to achieve more, and you're going to be able to relax more as well. That energy is literally your life energy. And without that, there's nothing left. So remember to find your purpose and pay attention to how it connects to the rest of your life. You've been listening to the Success Showcase. You can catch every episode of the Success Showcase at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and wherever you find podcasts. Remember, make this your best week ever and make next week even better. We'll see you then.
Breaking news from the stadium tonight as an anonymous fan foot the bill for 55,000 hot dogs, bringing that sweet tubed meat to everyone in attendance.
Free dogs! Yeah!
55,000 hot dogs? What does that even cost? While the identity of this Frankfurter philanthropist remains anonymous, their all-beefy generosity will go down in history.
The new Mega Millions. More to win means more to give. How you spend it is up to you.
Yeah!
For game odds and details, visit SCEducationLottery.com.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather, now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.